Tell us what you think. In person, over the phone, online. Watch and hear yourself on TV. You tell us, we air it. This is The Local Live.
Hello everyone, welcome back to The Local Live, and glad you're joining us for our 25th broadcast. I'm Mike Witch, and with me is Local Live reporter Ashley Ballone, anchoring for your first time.
That's right, Mike. Thanks so much for giving me this opportunity. I'm super excited to be here to report stories for Larchmont, Mamaroneck, and Rhinebeck. Let's get started.
Well, later on tonight, Maura Carlin is joined by LMC TV board member and Mamaroneck aficionado Jeff Megan. You can tune in to our trivia contest, learn fun facts about Mamaroneck, and win prizes.
Now it's time to show you a sneak peek of tonight's stories.
Find out why local bar Molly Spillane's is in the news.
And parking restrictions create controversy in the town of Mamaroneck.
Stay tuned for our LMC TV Play of the Week.
Is your child bilingual? Dos Caminos Dual Language Program is our featured community story.
And well, who do we have here? My buddy Ranger is looking for a new home.
Molly Spillane's has run into a problem with some of the local residents of the village of Mamaroneck. Local Live reporter Siobhan Flattery was there at the scene.
Recently, there has been controversy between Molly Spillane's and some of the village of Mamaroneck residents on whether or not the outdoor patio should remain open. After continuous noise complaints, a group of residents rallied together to petition to shut down the outdoor patio for good. On June 2nd, Molly Spillane's responded to the residents' petition with one of their own, to keep the outdoor patio open. Within 24 hours, 60 likes, and 95 shares later, Molly's reached over 500 signatures, reaching half their goal of 1,000. But what does the community think about it?
I think it's justified because the noise is horrific, and I feel sorry for people with young children who can't get to sleep, and it's just a loud, incessant noise. I hear it from on the 5th floor where I live, even though the windows are closed.
I don't think the outdoor patio is the problem. Oftentimes at night, it's not noise from the patio that people are complaining about. It's the noise from the open upstairs windows, and they usually have a nightclub set up upstairs.
It's kind of ridiculous. I mean, you moved in next to a bar. It comes with the territory. If you move next to a train station, you don't ask for them to close the train station.
We really like that the patio's out here because it gives us a chance to, be outside, enjoy the nice weather, enjoy the atmosphere that Mamaroneck brings, and come together as a family and as a group of friends. We have people that come from New York City. I come from Connecticut, an hour and a half away. We all meet here as like a central location to share in that together.
Tonight, June 5th, there will be a public hearing at the building department on whether or not the patio can remain open. For The Local Live, I'm Siobhan Flattery signing off.
While we are broadcasting live, you can tune in to LMC TV on channel 76 on Cablevision or channel 35 on Verizon, and you can catch the actual public hearing held by the Zoning Board of Appeals where residents are complaining about this issue.
The Mamaroneck Daily Voice editor, Brian Donnelly, reported on May 30th that the town of Mamaroneck is planning to put into effect a new law requiring residents to have their own parking permits. The law says that commuters will only have a 3-hour time limit in certain areas, causing much controversy. The law is receiving harsh criticism, saying it's unfair and inconvenient to commuters and guests of the town. About 25 residents voiced their opinion to Mamaroneck town officials. Let's take a look at the tape.
I do have a babysitter, and there are several times where one of my children has the flu, cannot get out of bed, and under this law, a couple of times during the day, she would have the dubious choice of leaving a child unattended to go repark to avoid a parking ticket.
I'm so surprised by all of a sudden people coming who are opposed to this. Where were you when we had the many other meetings that we were wanting people to come and voice ideas, other ideas, so that we could craft a bill that would accommodate everyone.
Much of the rest of what I'd want to say has already been dealt with by others. But what we have is a proposal where the cure is far worse than the disease.
I think a lot of people are misinformed. I don't think they thought that this has been talked about, so I wanted to say that. And I'm for it, obviously. Thank you very much.
Officials have not voted yet on the issue of passing the law. We're going to keep you updated on this story, but for now, we'd like to know, what do you think regarding this new law? Remember, you can tweet your comments and opinions at the local live. Also, if you'd like to watch the full meeting, you can visit our webpage and go to Videos on Demand.
Now it's time for In the Media segment.
From the Hamlet Hub, good news for Mamaroneck Tiger sports fans. Budget cuts in the last 4 years resulted in several JV, freshman, and modified sports teams being cut. STT, or Save the Tiger teams, has been trying since then to raise money to reinstate those teams. Well, now a generous couple is offering to pay the balance of the funding for all 7 teams if STT can raise $40,000. If successful, teams that will return are freshman boys basketball, modified girls basketball, and modified girls softball, freshman baseball, JV boys soccer, modified girls field hockey, and modified girls volleyball. For more information and how to donate, read the Hub or email saveourtigerteams@gmail.com. The Hub also reports that a health fair is coming to Mamaroneck next weekend, described as a fun and educational day of health awareness. The Access to Care Health Fair is next Saturday, June 14th, from 10 to 2. It's free and open to the public at Mamaroneck Avenue School. There will be health screenings and exhibits with important takeaway information. You can enjoy nutritious snacks, giveaways, and fun activities for kids. The fair is organized by Healthier Mamaroneck, a committee of the Mamaroneck Cares Coalition, and is sponsored by several healthcare providers and local organizations. Read the Hub for more information. The Journal News had a few mentions of Mamaroneck in this week's editions. Homic's teacher Susan Chester appeared on page 1 and starred in a short video for a story about teaching social studies. In the video, Chester explains how the framework she uses to teach not only follows Common Core standards and conforms to the state framework, but even better, it makes social studies more relevant for her students. She was last year's Middle School Social Studies Teacher of the Year in New York State. On page 2 of the same issue, Phil Reisman wrote a touching story about Mamaroneck native Vernon Kemmerer Jr., who was killed in World War II. A 1941 graduate of MHS, Sergeant Kemmerer's name is among 161 engraved on the Kemper Memorial, and his grave in Belgium is now looked after by a young man who's trying to find Kemmerer family members and has been in touch with Lynn Crowley of the Larchmont Historical Society. Reisman's column can be found at lohud.com. The newspaper also reported that the cast of Shrek the Musical, as performed at Rhinebeck High School this year, won honors at the recent Metropolitan High School Theater Awards. Justin Sturgis and Elena Ree Gomez received awards for their performance. The MC for the ceremony was Larchmont's John Tracy Egan, himself an up-and-coming Broadway star. There's a feature story in The Patch about a Mamaroneck High School alum and his friend launching a new app called Chicory. Yuni Samashima, a 2009 MHS graduate, wants you to put down the takeout menu, cook more meals at home. Reports The Patch, the new company, named Chicory, connects your favorite recipes to local online grocery companies, providing an easy-to-use tool that lets you discover recipes you'll love to cook, instantly create the perfect shopping list, and get ingredients as well as regular groceries delivered. It's free and currently live in Larchmont and Mamaroneck. Samashima started the company last year with Joey Petraka while both attended Colgate University. The idea evolved from their mutual passion for cooking and healthy eating. Check it out at chicoryapp.com. Also in Tuesday's Patch, the story with photos about two Mamaroneck couples, Wendy and Neil Sandler and Eugene and Emily Grant. They were honored for their long-standing leadership in the Westchester community and their generous philanthropy, as well as their support of the UJA Federation. The event took place at the Larchmont Temple on May 29th. And finally, from the Loop, Larchmont Avenue Church is celebrating its 100th anniversary this weekend, June 7th and 8th. According to the Loop, Forest Park Avenue will be closed and a large tent erected. The fun starts Saturday evening with a reception under the big top featuring the music of the David Brandom Quartet. Lots of present and past members are expected to be there. Sunday's events begin with a church service at 10. Read more about it in the Loop. Well, these are a few of the local stories that caught my attention this week in the media.
Stay tuned. The Local Live will be right back.
Thanks for joining us at the Round Table. I'm Maura Carlin. Beside me is Rebecca Berman, who will be handling your calls, tweets, and emails. So how much do you really know about your community? Which village is the friendly one? What is a larch? And how are streets named? We're taking on local trivia, and there's even a contest. 2 LMC TV t-shirts are up for grabs. The first question. It would appear that 3 streets in the unincorporated town of Mamaroneck are named after writers. Dante, Homer, and Byron. One of them, though, is not. Tell us which. And which building in the village of Mamaroneck was used to store contraband liquor during Prohibition? So the first to answer either question correctly wins a t-shirt. Rebecca, tell us how you can enter to win.
Sure. To win the shirt, be the first to email thelocallive@lmc-tv.org to ask questions or stump our guest. You can also call 381-0150 or tweet at @thelocallive.
Our guest tonight is Jeff Megan, a lifetime resident of the Larchmont Mamaroneck community and a board member of LMC TV. Jeff also is an esteemed local lawyer and serves on the board of the local summit. He headed the Mamaroneck Public Library's renovation and expansion, and he founded the Washingtonville Housing Alliance. But he's not here tonight to talk about any of that. Jeff joins us as a local trivia master. His historical tidbits are a feature of every summit meeting. Jeff, thanks for joining us.
You're welcome, Maura.
And what's your first tidbit for us tonight?
Let's start with people.
Okay.
Mayors and supervisors. Which set of either mayors or supervisors, was there a parent that was a mayor or supervisor and a child that was a mayor or supervisor?
I know one in the village of Larchmont.
Are you giving us your answer?
Oh, I'm not supposed to? I guess I set the rules. Well, we're not going to wait for people to respond on that one. So that would be...
All right, here's another one for mayor and supervisor.
Okay.
There is one person that held the office of both a supervisor and a mayor.
At the same time?
No, different times.
Okay. Mayor and a supervisor. Okay. You taking any guesses?
I think I'm going to pass on that one. Although, wait, my one question is which one came first?
Actually, I don't know that. I have to go back to my other notes, but I haven't time for that.
I stumped you on that one.
All right, let's stay with that. Let's move to places.
Well, do we want to give answers?
Do you want to give answers?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm going to guess on this one.
Okay.
The father-daughter mayor team
Yep.
was, I don't remember his first name, but the last name was Neuer, and his daughter, Liz Neuer-Feld, they were both
That's
mayors
correct.
of the village
Ding.
of Larchmont.
His name was Maury.
Okay.
Maury Neuer.
Okay.
All right. Who was the only person to hold both offices, not at the same time, but a very nice gentleman?
A gentleman.
Yes. Very courteous.
I don't know, because since I've lived here, there's only been a female supervisor. If you think back over the last...
That's my next question.
over the last 20 years, I
It's a
think.
man named Leo Goldsmith.
Ah, and when
He was probably in the 60s, maybe
Okay.
70s. Who was the first female supervisor?
Oh, boy.
Since you mentioned female supervisors.
Carolyn something.
Nope.
Nope.
Silverstone, no.
I don't know.
Christine Hellwig.
Really?
Yes.
And when was that?
And she was responsible for the beginning of the Leatherstocking Trail, buying the land from the county. She was a very important lady and a very good supervisor.
And what time period was that?
I don't know that either, but my guess would be in the 60s.
I guess we all assumed that the town has had the Leatherstocking Trail all these years.
It was to be a county parkway, a cross-county parkway, and the county bought the land in order to build the parkway. And that's why it covers a loop all the way from Saxon Woods Park on Mamaroneck Avenue all the way to New Rochelle.
Right. Oh, now that makes sense.
So it was a road. And the county owned it all those years, and Christine had the idea, among others, why don't we get it from the county and we'll make a park out of it. So it's a wonderful asset for the town of Mamaroneck. Here's something modern. No, let's go to places. Our community, which is really the villages of Larchmont and Mamaroneck, and I actually call them 4 communities because we have the unincorporated section of the town, the village of Larchmont, the village of Mamaroneck, but people sort of forget Rye Neck. But even though it's part of the town of Rye, but people sort of forget it, and I like to bring them in. So here's the next question. We have 2 mill ponds in our 4-part community. What are they, and where are they located? They're at either extreme end of our community.
We're going to let people think about that, but we actually have a caller on the line.
Okay, good.
Go ahead, caller. Are you there?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead with your question.
My question is that there's supposed to be a big rock in the village of Mamaroneck somewhere, and the face of the rock appears to be George Washington. Is that true? And where is this rock?
Jeff, the George Washington rock.
Well, if you've been around, that's an easy one to answer. It's next to the Washington Arms. And you say, well, what's the Washington Arms? Well, the Washington Arms is that building that sits up at the corner of the Post Road and Orienta Avenue that is now known as Liberty Montessori School. And for many, 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 many years, it was the Washington Arms, one of the great old restaurants that was popular all over Westchester. And the condominium across the street was its parking lot. So the face of it, if you go into Orienta Avenue, look right, and you'll see the face of George Washington.
Except that it's now covered with bushes.
Well, the Jagodas, who are wonderful people, operate the school, try to keep it uncovered. So I'll speak to them.
Okay, that would be terrific. Now, we're going back to your mill pond question, but I'm going to start with, what's a mill pond?
A mill pond
That is a good question.
Well, a mill pond is where you would put normally an underwater dam. So you create a pond and a flow of water so that you could run machinery to, with flour and et cetera.
Okay, so I'm going to guess one of them is in the village of Larchmont where the old red bridge that's no longer red is.
You would be correct. And what's the name of that one?
It was something having to do with the old mill bridge or something like that?
No, it's called the Premium Mill Pond.
Ah, okay.
Because the Premium River runs into it.
That makes sense.
Okay,
That's
what's
right.
the other one at the other end of our 4-part community?
I don't know.
That's really a famous one in Mamaroneck. That's the Van Amerage Mill Pond.
Okay.
And that's in Greenhaven. And it's a terrific, beautiful, beautiful thing. And it exits into Long Island Sound. And actually, there's another trivia question there.
Okay.
Inside of Van Amerage Mill Pond, there's an island. Now there's a causeway to it, but there's an island. And it's called Bion Island.
I know what that is.
B-I-O-N. Okay, you know.
I know.
Okay.
Do you want to take a guess?
Yes, take a guess. Why is it named Bion?
Somebody named Byron lived there, around there,
Well,
near there, passed through it on a horse.
It's kind of close. All right, Maura, I'll give you the answer.
Okay, because it's Ripley's Believe It or Not.
That's right.
He stored a lot of his stuff there, didn't he?
He had a big house that he lived there and held big parties there and stored all of his crazy things there. And that's why it's called Bion Island.
Very interesting.
Did you have another email for us?
I just have one quick one here that I don't want to throw anyone off for where your questions are, but someone wants to know, what does this name mean, Rich Bell?
John Richbell.
It's a person's name.
It's a person, yeah. A very, very famous person who bought Mamaroneck from Chief Mahadahan for X number of coats and jewelry and
See, that's good history.
There's not a rich bell ringing anywhere.
No. Yes, every time you become rich, a bell rings.
Right. Now when was that? He didn't ask that, I'm just asking.
It was
that.
in it's something like 1640 or something in that area. I just saw it today, but I don't remember it.
And wait, here's another good one for you.
Okay.
Were there really pirates living on Pirates Cove Road?
I doubt it. I don't know, but I doubt it.
See, I want the
One of the
reader to
reasons is
believe
that
there were.
you could never get a pirate's boat in there. It's too shallow.
That's a good answer for him.
But it's right next to where D.W. Griffith had his movie set up on Flagler Drive in Edgewater Point.
Right.
What was the original name of Edgewater Point?
I don't know.
Griffith's Point.
No. Satan's Toe.
Oh, I had heard that before.
Yep.
Where did that name come from? No
I don't know.
idea.
It looks like Satan's Toe, I guess.
Right. Interesting.
And
And he really did film stuff. The racetracks, car race
He
things.
filmed quite a few films there. And a lot of, I remember going to the Emlyn in its early days, and they put on a program. And there were still a number of people alive who were workers on the film set, and I remember one man, his job was to drive and pick up the Gish sisters at the railroad station and drive them out to the film site. Lillian Gish and her sister.
Yes.
So.
Okay, so you were going to continue with.
Okay, back to people. I'll get some easy ones.
Okay.
Which mayor or supervisor became a state legislator?
I know that one too.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
This is a more modern one.
Yes.
More contemporary.
Yes.
I don't know.
Susie
Maura?
Oppenheimer.
Correct.
Ooh.
Which mayor or supervisor became a county legislator?
I don't know.
Paul Noto.
Oh, I didn't know that he was.
He was on the county legislature.
Did not know that.
Now, here's another one. Which mayor or supervisor became Westchester District Attorney? Joe Gagliardi. There was a very famous family in Larchmont, in the Larchmont Village, and Joe Gagliardi he eventually became 9th Judicial District Administrative Judge, and his brother became a federal judge.
Wow.
So it was
okay.
He started out as mayor of the village of Larchmont. Here's a really modern, kind of silly one. How many CVSs have we spawned?
Yeah, and there's no cap on that either.
No, there's no cap. They keep
growing.
they're
5?
Yeah, that's exactly.
5 is correct.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
All right, here's
my
another
God.
one. How many Dunkin' Donuts?
Fewer. It depends how far down towards New Rochelle you go.
No,
If the one near-
we're talking about our geographical area.
But the one that's close to the entrance to Premium Point, is that New
No,
Rochelle?
that's New Rochelle. That's New Rochelle.
Yeah, so you're minusing one.
Right.
In which case, I believe that there are 3. Am I missing?
4.
4.
It's a trick one.
Where?
Where?
It's in the
inside
gas
the place.
station on Mamaroneck Avenue.
Okay.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't know
I'm trying
that.
to think if I've been in that one.
Yeah, see, I forget the name of the side street, where they're building Jefferson Avenue Bridge, that side street.
Right.
That gas station.
Okay, didn't know that.
So there's 4. Now, I did a thing on parks, because all 3 communities are blessed with parks.
Yes.
So the one you folks asked me about was a park on the corner of Palmer Avenue and Weaver Street. And there was it's sort of a piece of land, and you wonder why it's a park. Nobody ever really goes there. There's some trees and flowers, and it looks very
And there's
pretty.
also like a driveway that you don't know where it's going
Right.
to.
Well, if you came over the bridge and came down to to Palmer Avenue, you can fork right.
Right.
If you came down,
Yes,
you could fork
yes.
right and then turn right and go down Palmer Avenue towards the village of Larchmont. Or you could stay straight and go on Weaver Street. Well, the fork right was Old Weaver Street. And if you cross Palmer Avenue, you go right into that driveway up on the right-hand side of that park. And then it would curve around left, and that was the original site of Weaver Street. And the reason for it is that that park had big rock outcroppings, but on it was a chapel. And it was a Sunday school chapel. And it burned in 1929. And they didn't have enough money to rebuild it. The Depression hit and so forth. And so the remaining trustees and the town of Mamaroneck and the county of Westchester decided, let's straighten out Weaver Street. So the county, county took title to the property, chipped away all of the rock. The trustees deeded it to the county, and by agreement, the county deeded it back to the town of Mamaroneck to be used as a park. So that's the reason why there's a little fork coming down
And that's how
onto
that
Palmer
came to be.
Avenue.
That's a good story. I like that.
And as long as you're talking parks, I noticed near Harbor Island there's a Megan Park. Is it yours?
My grandfather gave that, and I don't know when and why. But actually, going back to the park on Weaver and Palmer, there's a little, looks like a gravestone marker.
Yes.
And my father was one of the remaining trustees, and so he paid to have that marker put there. And it says, original site of the Sunday school and chapel.
That's
Which
interesting.
also happens to be where my grandparents met.
Oh,
Wait,
that's
now I was going to turn.
That's a story.
They met
worth
at that
hearing.
chapel?
Yes.
That's very nice.
Now, I was going to turn to you to see
Yes.
if we can find any winners for our first T-shirt.
Okay.
Whether of the streets, Homer, Byron, and Dante, which one is not named
Now,
after a writer?
I have to tell you that the first email that went out for this show said the Village of Mamaroneck. And like Marisa Tomei and my cousin Vinny on the stand, she says, I can't answer that. It's a trick question because the streets are actually in the unincorporated section of the town of Mamaroneck.
Right.
So those who look
Okay.
for it in the Village of Mamaroneck, don't bother.
Right.
Okay, wait, we had another question.
Well, we were looking for answers.
Yes, okay.
Has anyone?
So let me see. We got, you want me to read them?
Well, the first one in. What was the first? The first
Okay, the
person?
very first person. Let's go to them. Hang on. We got Poets Corner. Homer and Dante were writers. Lloyd Byron was a poet, which is not
It's not an answer.
That's not an
not
answer.
answering
Okay, so
our
that
question.
person doesn't get the T-shirt.
I think that this person might win it.
Okay, go ahead.
Because she just wrote Homer.
That's incorrect.
Okay,
Oh,
go to the next.
Wrong. She didn't get it. Okay. Wait, someone just said 3 streets. Oh, they have a whole long thing here. I don't know which wasn't named for a writer, but I do know that none of them are in the Village of Mamaroneck. They're in the unincorporated town of
Right, which we
Mamaroneck.
just went through.
Right. So the Murray Avenue. Okay. And let's see if this is it. Homer is not the writer.
That's incorrect.
We've already right.
Byron.
Incorrect.
Well, by virtue, has anyone guessed the last
Therefore-
one?
No one has. No one guessed it.
Okay, but now we all know that
All right.
Dante is the one not named
Dante
after.
is the one.
Right, but we do have a prohibition question. But
Well,
it's
wait a
not
minute.
even
Let
a
me
question.
explain why it's Dante.
Okay.
Because that's the key. That's the last remaining big estate in the unincorporated section was owned by a man named Mercadante. And it was still in existence in the 30s. And it finally got broken up, and a street was created, Dante. And one of the daughters, he had 4 daughters, one of whom was a woman that I knew who lived in Howell Park, named Tori Brookfield. And she was a Mercadante, and she grew up in this huge Mediterranean house on that big piece of property. And that's why it's named Dante, Mercadante.
See?
And nobody got it.
Nobody got it.
It's funny. Okay. People tried.
Before you go to the next topic, you do these historical tidbits at every summit meeting, which are a big hit. I've heard about them. But why don't you, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to tell us what the summit is and why you got involved.
I was looking, after my time on the library board, I was looking around for something to do, and some Emmylou Sleeper, who's a well-known lady who's served a lot in the village of Larchmont, the town of Mamaroneck, said, why don't you be on the summit board? So I said, okay. And one of the reasons I did, and one of the reasons I'm on the LMC TV board, is that these are the only 2 organizations that really tie all of those communities together. The summit was created for people who We're involved in different organizations in the 3 different communities to meet once a month at 7:45 in the morning at the Nautilus Diner. And when I got on the board, I kind of laughingly said one day, you know, yes, we have great programs, and we do. We have fabulous programs. June 17th, our next program, and anybody's entitled to go, is a program called What Lurks Beneath. And it's a program on all of our sewer pipes and water lines and so on, and what's the status of them. So we have our, you know, the town's administrator and Richard Slingerland coming and the mayor of Larchmont. But I said, you know, we have to start these meetings and jumpstart them. Why don't we do a little tidbit about the 3 communities that sort of, because it's sort of like an oral history.
Right.
People forget these things. We live in a transient community. People come and go, and they don't even know they live in the unincorporated section. All they know is they get a Larchmont phone number and a Larchmont post office and so on. So that's my purpose in it. It's sort of a teaching thing, and I try to make it fun. So I choose topics every month. So people don't know it, and I hope my audience is listening, because we have our last meeting before our summer break, and I plan to give him, it's the end of the semester, so I'm going to give a quiz instead of a program.
Is this, I assume it's a pop quiz because they didn't get a chance to study.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. There's no open book exam here.
Right.
This is all oral history. So, and just to give you an example on the parks, I did a thing on Mamaroneck Village parks, and we have a ton of parks, from little tiny parks like Megan Park to, you know, Harbor Island Park. So there's a Gillies Park, and if you drive into Orienta from the Post Road, and you drive up, and just after the split where you go left to Rushmore, and you continue right, there's a big triangle of grass there, where Old Post Road goes right and Orienta Avenue goes straight. And that's Gillies Park. And so somebody from the audience said, who's Gillies? And I didn't know, but I went back and something stuck in my brain, because my father was born here, my grandfather was born here, so sometimes things sort of pull up. And there was a woman named Anita Gillies, and she was a local person who gave a lot of her time and effort into things. But when she was a widow, she married a widower, and she married a guy named Ed Dooley. So somebody said in the audience, who the hell is Ed Dooley? Well, Ed Dooley was pretty famous. I ask you, have you ever heard of Ed Dooley?
I've heard that name, but I'm
thinking of a song.
No. Well, Ed Dooley he became famous because he was a quarterback for Dartmouth in 1927.
Okay, I did
he was
not
an
know
All-American and so on. But he was the mayor of the village of Mamaroneck from 1950 to 1956.
Okay.
And then he was our only congressman. He became a local guy, a local mayor, who became a congressman. And I think he served 1 or 2 terms, and then he lost out in a Republican primary to Ogden Reed, who had a little bit of money behind him.
Yes, a little.
And so Nelson Rockefeller was the governor at the time, and he felt sort of sorry for Ed Dooley, who was a very friendly, gregarious guy. So he appointed him New York State Athletic Commissioner. And the New York State Athletic Commission only runs 2 things, boxing and wrestling. He happened to fall into a dynamo, and he was the one that banned Cassius Clay from boxing in the state of New York because of his views on the war.
Okay, but this doesn't tell us how we got to Gilly.
He married Anita Gillies. I said that.
There we go.
A widower and widow.
Believe it or not, we are running out of time. We do
Okay.
have to deal with the other part of the contest, which is, do we have any guesses on the prohibition storage?
Hang on, let me see.
Anyone who's been watching the local live for these last few months really should know the answer.
No, we don't have any.
We don't. Well,
We don't.
then we're not giving away any T-shirts, I guess.
We're going to have to do this again. then.
We are, and it's the duck in for those of you who didn't know. But we are unfortunately out of time. We could do this for hours. Thank you, Jeff Megan,
Thanks, Maura.
for enlightening and entertaining us. Next week's roundtable discusses LGBTQ issues with local high school students and teachers. I'm Maura Carlin.
And I'm Rebecca Berman. The Local Live returns with community stories in a moment.
Hi, I'm Westchester County Legislator Catherine Parker. Watch The Local Live on Thursday at 7:30. before I make it a law.
This week in sports, some high-stakes playoff action at Mamaroneck High School. Both the softball and baseball teams were in tie games in the 6th inning of the sectional semifinals, and both came through in the LMC Varsity Sports Play of the Week. And congratulations are in order for the Mamaroneck baseball team, who took out North Salem by a 2-0 score to win the Section 1 Class B title. Way to go, Panthers!
2-1. Swung on, hit to center field. Over Donovan's head. 2 runs will score, and Liguori is in there with a double. And all of a sudden, Mamaroneck up 6-4. Great hit by Liguori. Liguori with a clutch hit, opening up a 2-run lead for the Panthers.
Payoff pitch. On the ground toward short, throw for a base hit. Aquino being waved home. Here comes the throw. Not in time. And the Panthers take a 2-1 lead.
Kawada bobbled that as it came up. It took a little bit of a short hop as Kawada was approaching the ball. And that little delay there allowed Aquino to come around and score on the play.
Oh.
June is Immigrants Heritage Month, and according to the 2010 census, 24% of the population in Mamaroneck is Hispanic. In this week's community story, award-winning filmmaker Zach Nagan shows us Dos Caminos, a dual-language program in Mamaroneck Avenue Elementary School. Vamos a verlo.
The Mamaroneck Union Free School District has a dual language program. It's called Dos Caminos. Dos Caminos Kindergarten has 2 classes, a purple group and a blue group. Each group is comprised of 24 students, 12 of which are home language English and 12 students which are home language Spanish.
So in the English zone, we follow the same phonics program that is followed district-wide in the kindergarten program. In the program, we teach 43 different sounds and then use them in their writing and also identify them in their reading.
Really, I think we all know that second language acquisition is easier the earlier one starts, but we've become really fascinated by the large body of evidence about the benefits of dual language program, beginning with, of course, biliteracy, that by the end of a dual language program, all the participating kids really have a degree of mastery in reading, writing, speaking, and listening, both languages, so that just makes sense.
Once upon a time, there were 3 billy goats craft. Little billy goat craft, middle billy goat craft, and big billy goat craft.
Our Emergent Storybook unit is carried out through both language zones. These emergent storybooks help children to create meaning from books as well as to strengthen their language skills.
Un día estaba un pequeñito y un mediano y un grande.
My son is enrolled in the dual language program. He's the younger of my 2 boys, and he started reading at a young age. So we wanted to give him a challenge for kindergarten, and the dual language program has been a perfect challenge for him.
The Dos Caminos program is following the same pacing as other kindergarten classes for the math curriculum. except our students alternate every other day and they receive their instruction in either English or Spanish. A block, exactly, yep. What does it have? The Dos Caminos program has just completed a unit on geometry, and in this unit, students explored the difference between flat shapes and solids.
Cuenta conmigo.
1, 2, 3.
But they also were able to begin identifying characteristics of solids, such as points, curves, and edges. Curved. Everybody show me curved with your arm. Curved. Show me an edge. Show me a point. Very good. And show me a flat face.
Dos Caminos, para doble lenguaje. Me encanta este programa. Wow. En mi casa hablamos el español. Antes mi nene solo hablaba el inglés y ahora estoy muy feliz con este programa porque mi hijo está hablando el español y el inglés, los dos lenguajes.
So the children in the Dos Caminos program will be participating in writing workshop every single day. They will be alternating between the Spanish zone and the English zone. And throughout the year, they will be publishing pieces in both languages.
Yo me fui para ver mi árbol de Navidad. Entonces yo me fui para dormir en mi cama. Entonces estaba Navidad y ahí estaban muchos regalos de mis amigos. My frog. I saved my money. I dreamed about my frog. I went to buy my frog and we took a photo. My body makes music. My body.
One way that we teach language, vocabulary, and rhyming in the Dos Caminos program is through poems and songs. Every week, we have a new poem or song that we introduce to the students, and they do learn this poem or song in both languages. And a 1, and a 2, and a 3.
My body makes music. My body makes music.
We had the opportunity to attend a national conference on dual language and to hear from colleagues who've been kind of promoting a dual language program nationwide for many years. And we're thrilled to find out the positive results that they have seen both through the research and through their direct practice in terms of improving students' cognitive ability, their performance in the classroom, and allowing them to leave school at the end of elementary school as biliterate, bicultural students.
It's time to meet our pet of the week, Ranger. Ranger is a 1-year-old basset hound, loves being around people and other animals. He's such a loyal companion. Ranger needs your help because he has leg deformities, but he's undergone surgery which has improved him greatly. He continues to enjoy life and others around him. Please help him find a home where he'll get all the love and the care he deserves, along with the fun he needs. If interested in adoption, please contact Courtney Ballou at snarrnortheast.org, or you can call 914-4946-456.
Guys, you're watching the local live. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Go.
Well, folks, it appears we're out of time. We hope you have learned 1 or 2 new things happening in our community.
That's right, Ashley. We're always here to keep you connected to everything trending in Larchmont, Mamaroneck, and Rhinebeck.
I'm Ashley Ballone and enjoyed anchoring for the first time. This was so much fun. Thank you for having me.
And I'm Mike Witch. Stay friendly, Mamaroneck, and stay classy, Larchmont. We'll see you next time here at the Local Live. Bye for now.
Tell us what you think. In person, over the phone, online. Watch and hear yourself on TV. You tell us, we air it. This is the Local Live.